We have your partner in crime with us, Arvind Subramanian. I remember when you were RBI governor and he was chief economic advisor. I think that was the best combination, which is why both of you were asked to leave, of course. There must be a quality cut, quality check. But you've been listening, Arvind, to what Raghuram Rajan has said. And the last thing that he did mention is, okay, there is the economy is doing well, etc. But this whole factor that works in politics, a little bit of hatred and fear. Immigrants, they're taking your jobs, they're eating dogs and cats, and they're all criminals. Was that the key underlying factor? And that's very worrying because that can spill over into the future as well.
Yeah, I think that, just relating it to the discussion we've just been having, I think any kind of economic explanation of the Trump phenomenon only takes you thus far for two reasons. One, apart from inflation, the economy has been doing very well, including, wages at the bottom, real wages, full employment, and so on. And in a comparative sense, the American economy is, still the land of innovation and opportunity compared to Europe, Germany, and China. So I think that cannot be a full explanation. And the second reason is what I think Millen also said, that, across the board, we're seeing young men voting for things. So there is a kind of identity-related explanation, which I think is very important. And that's where this, demonizing the foreigner, whether it be Mexican immigrants taking your jobs, Haitian immigrants eating dogs, or the Chinese taking away our jobs and, manufacturing jobs and running up this big surplus, which is impoverishing us. So that whole demonizing the other is a big part of the Trump appeal. And I think immigration and even trade, I would say, are kind of manifestations of that. And you remember, you see this happening not just in America, but also, somewhat more widely, that less educated people are turning to the right and more educated people are turning to the left, which also explains the rise of anti-immigration parties in Europe as well. So I think the Trump phenomenon is something about more than economics, much broader, and a big plank of it is identity related and demonizing the other. Right. And that's where the fear, anxiety that you whip up seems to have a lot of purchase in today's American society.
Mr. Subramanian, on this point on China, just looking ahead to the Trump presidency, of course, he's talked about 60% tariffs on Chinese goods, and it's probably unlikely that he would actually go as high as that. But there is a sense that this would be a presidency that perhaps would be more watchful when it comes to China. And what is that then, in terms of the economic relationship with China for India? What are the larger implications of that?
So I think let's separate this out into the pure economics China effect and the India effect, right? See, Trump has for about 30 years now, has been obsessed with tariffs. He doesn't have much conviction. He's a transactional guy. But imposing tariffs is probably his one deep conviction, because he thinks this is what is leading to the decline of the economy. So I think he will act on it. He may modify it as a result of negotiation and transactions, but he's fully committed to taking action on tariffs against the world as a whole, but against China in particular. And he's also obsessed with the fact that China has been running up its manufacturing, and that the buildup of Chinese manufacturing, again, their technological capability, that worries them a lot. So I think that's going to be a big part of the agenda going forward. He's obsessed with Chinese economy and kind of success, and therefore tariffs will be used.
Just
Right.
want to
The
bring in.
impact India is actually a little bit more interesting than I think people realize.
Right, yeah.
On
Just
the one
coming to-
hand,
Sure.